term glue pinning is referred to when we need to pin something that's very little, is usually used for very little pieces, and I happen to be doing a lot of that recently. For example, when you're doing your folded corners, whether you're drawing a line, trimming them off, I prefer to use a little bit of glue instead of putting a pin into very small pieces. So the glue that I prefer to use is called Appli Glue. This is by Lily Studios. It is archival quality, so will not damage your fabrics or cause any premature aging. It's acid-free, pH neutral, and completely water soluble. So it has already a precision tip on it that's out of plastic, so it won't rust. So some glues will have a metal tip, but it won't rust. You can clean it easily just by running water through it, and there's a tip cap on here that will prevent it from drying out. So it's completely safe for your quilts. Whether you leave it in or you wash it out, it's really great. So how I use this, if you're doing folded corners, whether you draw lines or use a laser or line on your machine, where the part that's going to get trimmed off, I just place little glue dots there. You can put one right here. And this glue will just adhere and create that bond, temporary bond. You can still lift it and move it around, but it pretty much bonds instantly, which is different from Elmer's. You can use Elmer's washable glue, but that one you have to heat set for it to really stick. So this is why I like the Appli Glue. I like the fact that it was designed by a fellow female pattern designer, and so I love supporting that. So this is what I love for small pieces, folded corners, and you can also use it for if you're sewing triangles to a bigger piece, or whether you use for your folded corners, maybe you use a corner clipper where you place your pieces on. You can do that with our trimmers as well, and you trim it off like this. You can still use the glue because it's really hard to put a pin in such small pieces, and sometimes we're even working with smaller pieces for some of those tilde projects, for example, Elizabeth Hartman as well. So I can just put 3 little dots right here in the seam allowance, place it right here, and it's just ready to sew. I don't have to worry about it. I can stitch right on it. Now if you get a little bit of glue on your cutting mat, as I did here, easy enough, just have a wet cloth and wipe it down and it'll come right off. So this is my favorite method to use for pinning when I'm working with really small pieces.